Did you see the title of this video? Negative annuity reviews? Have the guys at Annuity Think Tank lost their freaking minds? I thought all they did was positive reviews on annuities. Well, that used to be the case, and we still do, of course. But in this video in particular, we're going to give you a little entertainment here. We're going to let you hear, and I'm going to read them out to you, some of the comments and even a personal email we've received over the last 30 days of negative annuity reviews and negative comments and testimonials, etc. Some of them have some great truth in them. Some of them have not any at all. And one's actually just kind of funny. But I wanted you to see these so you don't just think all we do is talk about the pros of annuities. There are some cons, just like anything, any kind of product or service in America. There's pros and cons. It can't be a fit for everyone. But I wanted you to have a little bit of entertainment on this one. And I'm going to read you a couple of the most recent comments that we received. Here's the most recent one. This is from a gentleman. I'll leave out the names here. But it says to Joe, it's to me, "You are a true believer of annuities. With the present low interest rates, I find it very hard to promote. Maybe U.S. and Canadian annuities are not the same." I think he's being funny there. But I think he is. This guy is from Canada. Anyhow, I wrote back to him and said, "Hi. What we have found is that less than 25% of baby boomers have any type of pension here in America. Thus, they are counting on their 401k to get them through retirement. However, the 401k has absolutely no contractual guaranteed income stream of any sort. So much of what we are seeing is people are moving out of their 401ks and into annuities with a lot of their qualified money to get a lifetime income stream, usually close to retirement age or in retirement. At that point in their lives, the number one goal is not outliving their retirement savings and defending what they have, not so much hitting home runs or grand slams with huge double-digit rates of return." So what we have found is that many of the people buying annuities today, not to say they don't care about the rates, but they don't care as much about the rates. They would put number one, what's most important is safety and not losing their ass, is actually what I wrote in here, if we have another correction. Finally, there are some really high 5-year annuity rates, the multi-year guarantee rates, around the 3% range right now. Compare that to banks that are in the 1.75 to 2% range, not to mention that annuities have tax deferral, while bank CDs do not. And I wrote him, I hope that helps, and he actually wrote me back a nice email. So that was a nice one. Here's two comments from the same person on some of our videos. The title of the video was Pros and Cons of Annuities. This gentleman writes, "Don't buy this at face value. Seek other unbiased advice. If he has more videos than this 15-minute one that further describe annuities, well, there's the adage that you shouldn't invest in anything that you don't understand." Keep in mind what he said there. You shouldn't invest in anything you don't understand, and you can't possibly understand that any annuity that has a 3-inch thick prospectus because you aren't going to read it in the first place, which is probably true, because it's impossibly constructed to hide the underlying truth. And the insurance salesperson is not going to explain it because she wants that glittery commission. I'll be honest, I didn't view the entire 15 dreadful minutes, but skipped around just enough to know that this deserves severe scrutiny. So a couple things. One, it's funny that he talks about educating and didn't even take the time and admitted, which was pretty cool of him actually, that he didn't view the entire thing and skipped around. But two, a couple things are wrong with this. He mentions a 3-inch thick prospectus and then talks about the insurance salesperson selling it. A couple of things. A prospectus is usually or always associated with some kind of security like a variable annuity. So I think he's talking about a variable annuity here, although the video is more about fixed and fixed indexed annuities. And then he talks about an insurance salesperson who can't sell things that have a prospectus. So a little bit of confusion there. Anyhow, but it does. I mean, we're agreeing. And once again, this is why we do the videos on education. And you need to understand this before you ever buy anything. And it was very, very clear that this 15-minute video is not enough to ever go buy an annuity. So we apologize, Mr. Commenter. Here's the second one, though. And this was on another video talking about why annuities are actually bad investments, which is true. What a crock. They are routinely sold as investments. So much for blaming Wall Street for comparing annuities to investments. The perfect candidate for an annuity is the gullible, the person who doesn't sufficiently research them. And once again, this came from the guy who said he didn't view the entire 15 dreadful minutes, but skipped around. So a little bit funny that talks about that, and once again, it is correct. We try to educate people here, and we don't recommend skipping videos and or trying to buy something on any of our videos alone or even combined. You need to speak to someone, and if you have a 3-inch thick prospectus, that does mean you have a variable annuity, and you definitely need to know all about those because once again, that is pretty thick, and as I mentioned, I wouldn't want to read through that myself. All right, this is from a comment that we found online. The gentleman says, I won't read all of it to you, but he says, I liked your broker until he recommended an indexed annuity, a product that is the cause of more complaints than you can wiggle your toes at. Yeek! He exclaims. Indexed annuities, as wise Uncle Remus might say, are like walking barefoot through the briar patch. So, little confusion on this, and so here's my response. Although index annuities are certainly not for everyone and are by no means a perfect product, I believe your comment regarding them is a bit off-based. It would be like someone saying don't ever buy a stock because people have lost money, and there have been hundreds of thousands of complaints and lawsuits regarding different stocks over the last 50 years, which, by the way, is true. However, that kind of advice would be ludicrous for many reasons and thus should not be treated as advice. And finally, although indexed annuities have had their share of complaints, less than 1% of all owners that own fixed indexed annuities, equity indexed annuities, they all mean the same thing. So less than 1% of owners ever make a complaint. That is far less than the owners of variable annuities, mutual funds, or stocks. But either way, you can't make a good decision by only looking at the complaints alone. At the end of the day, the vehicle must be suitable and fit within your objectives. And then I talk about a good article that has more. So once again, the moral of the story is complaints, yes, that's obviously something you want to take seriously, but don't ever buy anything just because of the lack or no complaints for that matter. It would be like if you needed a truck to do your job in your construction, and you saw a Prius that had no complaints and no safety issues ever, but yet the truck had recalls in the past. Are you going to buy a Prius just because it has no complaints? No. You buy the one that fits your overall objectives and what you're looking for. So don't look at complaints, take that very seriously, but do know that less than 1% of people with index annuities ever complain. All right, if you like this, please like the video. Number one, send us some more comments, preferably positive ones. And if you have negative ones, obviously give us those as well. We'd love to hear your candid feedback, and sometimes you might get called out. We will never mention your name, but you can see in some instances they had some great points, and some there was some confusion as well. And for all other things, go to annuitythinktank.com. Download all of our free PDFs and reports, videos, annuity software, etc. And once again, we'll have some more videos coming out very soon.